pickle glazed wings and what? Pickle lemonade? Where my pickle people at? Love that pickle from Popeyes.
NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000+ out-of-market games and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus.
Welcome back for Game 3 of the series, and here's how Iowa State will bat it around today. Trice, Clemens, Malot, who has had a terrific game and terrific series, 3 for 6 with 3 home runs. Johnson, Allen, Ford, Bartholomew, Nosen, and Andrews will round out the lineup for the Cyclones here today. And taking a look at the starting pitching for the Cowgirls, they will go with Katie Coots, who came in yesterday, and she'll get the start here today.
I love the idea to start Katie Coots. She only threw 1 2/3 innings yesterday, gave up 3 hits but no earned runs. She came in and really shut it down. Her arm is fresh, and I like the idea to give Ruby Malin a rest. She's been throwing a ton of innings, so I'm excited to see how she comes out today.
Yeah, you know, she can really help, again, keep the innings down for Ruby Malin, and who knows, we may see Aug later today. May see Ruby come in and close, depending on how this goes. But here's a great opportunity for Katie Coots to continue to establish that she can be a pitcher on the weekend and to help them all throughout the course of the season. As Trice lays that one down beautifully as she does, locked, and uses that speed to get a bunt single. And Iowa State, like they've done much of this series, they get on the bags very early. Take a look at the defense for the Cowgirls. Edwards, Bloodworth, Davis, and Godwin around the bags. Hassler back behind the dish today. And across the outfield left to right, it's Hathoot, Delgadillo, Cheese, and Warsup will start it right instead of going from left to right as she does many times. And Coots in the circle. And she is pitching to Jessie Clemens, who is moved into right field. She was at first most of the series, but she's moved out there. But she's had a heck of a series. 5 for 7 with a couple of doubles. And this freshman, as you said early on, does not play like a freshman. And proves it there yet again. Gets the hit into right field. Warsup steps on the ball. There's a delay, and that allows the runners to move up. So a single, and I'm guessing potentially advance on the third, but boy, big time play right out of the gate for Iowa State.
A hot start for Iowa State. This pitch on the upper half of the zone, and Jessie Clemens just continuing her hot streak, taking it opposite way. And the aggressive base running, taking advantage of the bobble out in right field. Iowa State already with 2 runners in scoring position, and Katie Coots only throwing 3 pitches so far, so they're coming out swinging today.
Absolutely. You saw the first pitch bunt single by Trice. Then Clemens' second pitch takes into right. It is a single and an error. That's the first error of the weekend for Oklahoma State. And Iowa State with runners at second and third to start this thing. And the ever so dangerous Sydney Malot, the first baseman today. She's been at third, moves to first today. And again, her bat has been really good for Iowa State and Coach Pinkerton. Big cut, strike 2, and it's a big AB right here, very early, but this is a heck of a battle already between these two teams.
It's a great opportunity for the Cyclones to just jump on top of Oklahoma State after taking the run rule loss yesterday. I imagine Katie Coots, like I was going to say, I imagine she's going to stay on the outside part of the zone, and that's exactly what she did here. She uses her cutter a lot, which just drifts outside to righties and gets a ton of swings and misses on that pitch. So I love the response by Katie Coots in that moment to get the strikeout.
It is a big strikeout for the Cowgirls, and for Iowa State trying to keep things going here with Tatum Johnson, the center fielder, batting .338 on the season, a kinesiology major, and she has been in perpetual motion all day, all weekend long, with all the movement out in center field where she's played very well. You know, the weekend for Iowa State, Clemens came in batting .357. She's already up to .377, and Malot, who did strike out, but she was up to .308 prior to that at bat, raising hers by 10 points. There's a shot right to Davis. Davis, quick glove, and there's out number 2, and that's a big out for both of these two teams now with 2 gone and 2 on. That's a good quick glove by Rosie Davis. You knew something about second base, right?
just a bit. Like you said, great play by Rosie Davis. I really like the aggressive swing by Johnson on the inside pitch, trying to hit something to the right side of the field. With runners on second and third and less than 2 outs, you're always trying to get something on the right side of the field, and she barreled that pitch up. Just unfortunate for her right at the second baseman, Rosie Davis.
Allen struggling 1 for 7. The Merino Hills, California product. She's got an opportunity right here with runners at second and third. Trice is at third. Clemens is at second. And Allen ahead in the count 2-0. 2 gone. Lots of action here on a day where the wind is blowing out. And the changeup. They will say she did not go around, I believe. And yes, it is 3-0. So an open bag, and again, Allen struggling, but you know she's due at 1 for 7. Here's the 3-0, see if she's got the green light. There's a called strike. She did not look like she wanted that one. That was rising up to the top of the strike zone anyway. May not have wanted it anyway. And the count now 3-1. Certainly a hitter's pitch here. And there's ball 4. So the bases are loaded at the top of the first, but 2 gone. The game winner on Friday night came from Carly Ford. Goddard, Kansas product, just a freshman, batting .265. 4 RBI. Well, one of them came on Friday, and it was the game winner. Starting catcher for Coach Pinkerton. That spun back into the net. Strike 1 all the way. That ball spun off that net so hard it went all the way back out to Katie Coots.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at the stats a little bit earlier today, and Katie Coots, her opponent's batting average against lefties is .349, and against righties is .191. And if you look at the bases, Serenity Trice, a lefty, Jessie Clemens, a lefty, both with singles, and then Angelina Allen, also a lefty, but she got walked. So it's just funny to me that the 3 lefties we've seen so far have all had success off Katie Coots.
There's an off speed for a strike. No, that's a great observation. It just tells you, maybe you talked about that cutter. It's such a hard pitch when it's drifting away from those right-handed batters and coming in, and you can see it maybe better from the left-handed side.
Yeah, as a lefty, seeing a pitch like that that's coming into you and dropping a little bit, it's crossing the entire plane of home plate, and is definitely a little bit easier, I think, to get your barrel to it. So I don't think that Katie Coots really uses her cutter as much against lefties, and I think that's her go-to best pitch. So taking that out of her arsenal maybe allows lefties to have a little bit more success.
That ball hit foul and hit Carly Ford in the box, so it is a foul. Even though Trice was on her horse coming down the line. Iowa State in their gold jerseys today. Coach Pinkerton down there in his gold coaching pullover. Cowgirls in their home whites. 2-2. That one's hit foul. That's a good swing, but just a little late on it. And it'll go into foul territory. Cal will stay 2-2. Drama early in this one. Bases loaded, 3 on, 2 outs, and a 2-2 count. And that one is hit into right. That's going to score a run. That's going to score 2 runs. Carly Ford, that's her 3rd RBI in the series, and she helps the Iowa State Cyclones get on top 2-0. They have done a good job of getting on top most of this series.
Carly Ford absolutely battling in this at-bat and taking that outside pitch down the right field line. She hit a foul ball the pitch before, almost in the exact same spot, but able to get that one inside the foul line. Love that at-bat from her, and the freshman really coming through early for Iowa State. Serenity Trice, Jessie Clemens, both scoring on that play, both freshmen. And then Carly Ford, the freshman, able to get those 2 RBIs is amazing to see. Taking
care of business. That's the youth movement at Iowa State, and nearly half of their youngsters are underclassmen. And Coach Pinkerton has made it clear, listen, we're going to continue to recruit young people and create relationships. We don't lose a lot to the portal. And we don't get a lot out of the portal. In his 8 seasons here, he's had 4 transfer portal kids. That is a crazy low number in today's world. We saw Bartholomew's numbers, and Katie Coots starts with an off-speed pitch off the plate, 1-0. Bartholomew the shortstop, and still got an opportunity. Runners on the corners, and there is one that misses a little low, and 2-0. Iowa State has put pressure on Oklahoma State this entire series, scoring early. They scored the first run yesterday in the first, led it 1-0. They scored the first run on Friday in the top of the first, led it 1-0. And today, put 2 on in the top of the first and lead 2-0. And here's ball 4. So a couple of walks, and the bases are loaded again. And Iowa State trying to make some big-time noise here in the top of the first.
I'm really liking the approach of the Iowa State offense so far. They've been very disciplined off of Katie Coots, swinging at her pitches that she's putting in the zone, and they've barreled up a lot of hits so far today. So their offense just coming out looking really good so far.
No doubt it is, as Isabel Nosen, designated player, 0 for 4 in the series with the walk. Opportunity here with the bases juiced for the second time in this inning. The 8th batter coming to the plate for Iowa State here in the top of the first. There's a ball, 2-0. Nowhere to put her, so you know Katie's going to have to come after her here. Already some activity in the bullpen, and I believe that is Catherine Ogg down there that is, or maybe that's Riley Crandall that is working in the bullpen right now. And the count 3-0, so. And we saw the double-fisted signal going to Nosen. I don't know if that's the take or a green light, but we're going to find out right here. It was the take sign by Coach Pinkerton to Nosen. And the count 3-1.
I was just going to say, I think that was her 7th ball that she's thrown in a row. So probably not a good time to be swinging 3-0, especially with the bases loaded.
And that one misses, and the Cowgirls walk in a 3rd run here at the top of the first. So Katie Coots a little unsettled early on in this one. Cowgirls down 3-0, but they're used to being down and coming back. They've done it many times this year. For Iowa State, if they can hold a lead going into the 4th inning, they're outstanding, as Carrie Eberly will come to the circle and talk things over with Katie Coots.
Also maybe give Riley Crandall some extra time in the bullpen to start warming up. Definitely not the start they were looking for out of Katie Coots. I think throughout the season we've seen her struggle a little bit in her early at-bats, just leaving her pitches over the middle of the plate a little bit, struggling to find control, giving up some walks. And I just don't know if Oklahoma State can afford to give up many more runs this early in the game.
So the home plate umpire comes out and speeds things along. Home plate umpire today is Dustin Douglas. Keith Kearney is at first, and Robert Gonzalez goes to third. Katie Coots will stay in there. Ruby Malin also up working in the bullpen for Oklahoma State. 3-0, bases loaded, 2 outs to the 9-hole hitter, McKenna Andrews. There's a strike. 32 pitches already here in the first inning. 9 batters for Iowa State. They've batted around here in the first inning, and that foul puts Katie ahead 0-2 here. That one's fouled back out of play as well. Came right back at her, challenged her, and That was maybe that cutter you've been talking about, but good job by Andrews to get a bat on it. The 0-2. That one is foul. Same thing. And right now, Andrews having a hard time getting around on it. She's been late the last 2-3 pitches here. And see if she can get her timing. Again, the wind blowing directly out of Cowgirls Stadium. Now one is chopped the other way. So you set her up with fastball outside and come back inside and take a little off of it. She's way early. So a good pitch sequence by Katie Coots, but a nice job by Andrews to stay alive at the plate.
Yeah, I think 0-2, I'd like to see her pitches a little bit further outside of the strike zone. I think with 0-2, I'd like to see the pitcher just kind of give a couple of throwaway pitches and leave it not even close to the zone.
Andrews batting .294 with runners in scoring position, and she's got 2 of them sitting there right now.
4 innings. She's well rested, ready to throw today, and going to try to hold down the Oklahoma State offense.
Young lady that is, I said Friday night, it was Friday noon start, Saturday noon, Sunday noon start. Very rare start times, but all because of the Boys from Oklahoma concert in town for a 4-night event. All to help raise money for Oklahoma State and revenue sharing. And I can tell you firsthand, last night there was some revenue generated from that concert. Here's the 0-2. Up and away on Talon Edwards. Terrific atmosphere. You've been in town. You said you didn't go to the concert, and you've been in town for all of these games and concert nights. But you've noticed the town is definitely hopping in Stillwater.
That's exactly right. There's more people than I think I've ever seen in Stillwater this weekend, and it's been so much fun. There's been so much energy around town and getting a great atmosphere again at Cowgirls Stadium. It's just been so much fun to see.
It has been a great event. Cross-Canadian Ragweed getting together, playing for the first time in 10 to 15 years. There was Stoney LaRue, there was Jason Boldine and the Stragglers, or Jason Bolin and the Stragglers, excuse me. There his Great Divide was here. Mike McClure. Several of those bands inducted into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, Music Hall of Fame as of yesterday. And it has been an incredible music festival atmosphere, generating lots of needed revenue for Oklahoma State. Currently NIL, soon to be revenue sharing. 1-2. That one is hit to Trice. Trice makes the play. Throw over in time to Malot, who's at first today. And let's take a look at the Cowgirls, or excuse me, Iowa State's defensively. Andrews, Bartholomew, Trice, Malot, and Carly Ford staying behind the dish today. And then crossing outfield left to right, Allen, Johnson, and Clemens. And the aforementioned Skirman in the circle. Cowgirls have in the bottom of the first, trailing 3-0. That brings up Rosie Davis. Let's take a look at Rosie's numbers out of Readyville, Tennessee. 5 for 8 with a home run, double, couple runs scored, 4 RBI. She's having a terrific weekend. She's behind here 0-1, takes that one, and the count evens at 1-1. So again, just a very interesting weekend, and starting with noon starts all 3 days. Trying to stay away from the actual festival and the incredible events that have happened. You know, Dr. Schrum, who's resigned as the Oklahoma State president, she along with Darren Schrum were huge parts of getting this thing going. Kyle Waters, associate athletic director, has done this before, and it was his execution of the plan. And if you have seen or been to the concert, you know what I'm talking about. It has been an incredible sight and has to be one of the biggest 4-day events ever in the history of Stillwater, Oklahoma. And again, benefiting Oklahoma State and, of course, local merchants. There's ball 4 for Rosie Davis. So the Cowgirls answer in the bottom of the first with a base runner. and opportunity. And if you're Oklahoma State, that's the way you've got to do this. You have got to make sure that you stay within striking distance. Obviously, you'd love to overtake them and score 3, 5, 10, right? But you've got to make sure that you're keeping pressure right back on them, and that's a good start for Rosie Davis.
I think the key for the Oklahoma State offense today is going to be to stay disciplined. On Friday, we saw them swinging at balls, taking strikes consistently through the whole game, and that's what led to just the lack of offense in the first game, and I think even the start of the game yesterday. But that back half of game 2, they were able to get some things going, start taking some better at-bats, and Rosie Davis being very disciplined in that at-bat, taking a walk and just trying to piece some things together is going to be key for them.
Michaela Wark took a strike, but there she takes ball 1, so the count even at 1-1. Yeah, you made point of that, letting some strikes go by and swinging at some pitches out of the zone. And you got to give Skirman credit for disguising the pitches, right? A pitch that comes in looks like a meaty pitch that really wasn't a strike. And the Cowgirls chased it a little bit. And then some that came off speeds, especially coming through there. And Cowgirls just watched them come across. So mixed up the batters pretty well on Friday. Cowgirl batters were a little more opportunistic on Saturday as that one is skied out of play, just past the net. And the count 2-2.
Skirman does a really good job mixing her pitches up. She mostly throws side to side, so in and out and then down in the zone, but every once in a while she'll mix in an up pitch, her rise ball, and I think that's what Oklahoma State has been jumping on, but that pitch is just consistently out of the zone, and they keep swinging at it because they're used to seeing the down pitches and then finally get something up at their belt, and their eyes light up a little bit. They want to hit it out, but Skirman just doing a good job.
Cowgirls get a single. So they follow up the single, and there's the discipline that you were talking about as Wark. I don't know if she would say got every bit of that, but she did get it in the 5-6 gap and able to get a single, and now the Cowgirls have runners at first and second. For Carly Godwin, the Lake Waccamaw, North Carolina sophomore. .330 average, 1 for 8 on the weekend. Has 4 home runs on the year, and she certainly has the power to tie this thing up very quickly with the wind, especially today. First baseman for the Cowgirls. And that ball inside. Godwin's numbers, .324 with runners in scoring position. She's got Rosie Davis at second right now. That one's a called strike. 3 umpires. They move around from first, third, and behind the plate every single day. So every strike zone is going to be a little different on the weekend. And Carly Godwin crushed that foul. It's a strike, 1-2, but that's a statement swing right there. Skirman pitched so well on Friday and trying to maintain a 3-run lead right here. That one is flared into right field. Clemens is over to get it. And back of the bag is Rosie Davis. So 2 gone with 2 on for Oklahoma State. And Skirman trying to get herself out of a little jam here in the bottom of the first.
Carly Godwin, I think, jumping on that outside pitch, maybe trying to protect the plate a little bit, but good at bat by Skirman. She's throwing her stuff and doing a good job mixing it around all quadrants of the zone so far.
That'll bring up the catcher, Amanda Hassler. And here's the first pitch to her. That one's high and inside. Ball 1. Batting .298 on the season, as you see Skirman there looking in and getting her second start of the weekend. Did not get the decision because the game was tied and went into extra innings when she left the ball game. She left with a lead, but by the time it was all said and done, it was tied up. We went in extra innings, so she did not get the decision. That went to Ralston, who got her 5th win of the season. And a 2-0 called strike on Hassler. Hassler batting .298, .226 with runners in scoring position. So Iowa State did their damage with 2 outs. All 3 runs coming with 2 outs. Cowgirls trying to do the same thing here as that one's inside, nearly clipped the elbow. The count goes to 3-1. Cowgirls had runners on with no outs, but that's not right. Actually, they had 1 out, 2 runners on, and now a conversation coming in from pitching coach for Iowa State. So at 3-1, 2 on, 2 out. What do you think this conversation's about? Maybe.
I think just being careful with Hassler. We know she has so much power, 9 home runs on the season. Great opportunity. Hitters count for her, 3-1. As a batter, you're looking for something over the heart of the plate that you can drive. And if not, she'll happily take a walk. So this is a big moment for Skirman and the Iowa State defense, and a good time for them to shut down the Oklahoma State offense.
Hassler's 9 home runs, good for 11th coming into the weekend in the Big 12. Malot was one of the top hitters in the conference. She's only added to that with her 11. She moved way up. And the Cowgirls have the bases loaded. Now then, this is the interesting stat we had been keeping track of. Bases loaded, Big 12. It's happened a lot for Oklahoma State. I believe the count is now 15.
I think 16.
16. And the Cowgirls are 1 for 16, and that means Rachel Hadhoud, who had a home run. This is a pressure moment for her. This is a big opportunity. She is 3 for 3 with a home run on the weekend. You got the right kid, hot kid at the plate if you're Oklahoma State. And she takes ball 1. Got to be careful here. Again, pitching her inside. She showed terrific power. She's not a home run hitter. She's only got 11 over the course of her career. 1 this season, but the one she hit yesterday had little doubt. And that one outer half, top of the strike zone, 1-1 the count. One for 16, opportunistic, timely hitting. And part of the absence for Oklahoma State this season is that one is hit off the end of the bat to the right side, and 1-2. Talked about pivotal moments. We've already seen that in the top half of the first inning here, and this is certainly same situation in the bottom half. Ice, but the Cowgirls do get the out just in time.
That was a great play by the shortstop, Megan Bloodworth. When she fielded this ball, the first baseman, Carly Godwin, was not even, I think she was like probably 2 or 3 steps out from first base. So Megan Bloodworth shuffled her feet, gave her time to get to the base, but still able to make a great throw across to get the speedy runner Serenity Trice out.
That is a great catch by you, because it's exactly what happened. She double clutched, and at first you're like, did she bobble it? No, she was letting Godwin get her foot back on the bag, and then she had to make a more difficult throw and a speedy throw, but just in time to get Trice, who is quite honestly maybe the quickest player on the field today. She is fast. That brings up the right fielder, Jessie Clemens, who is credited with a single so far today. She was one of the 3 runs scored. Fantastic freshman. Anything but freshman-like, certainly at the plate. And draws a walk. So that's the 3rd walk of the game so far for Katie Coots, and you know, that's one of those other things. 4 walks today. Excuse me, I think I said 3. That's her 4th, and that is just a hard thing to overcome, especially when you got to face a kid like Malot, who now has 3 home runs on the weekend. We just showed that, and you certainly don't want to put her on, but you got to be careful with her.
You really don't want to give the Iowa State offense any free passes, especially the way that they've been taking these walks. These at-bats haven't even been competitive. A couple of her walks, just 4 pitches, not even close to the zone. Definitely want to make them work a little bit to get on base.
And right there, Clemens going to steal second, and that ball was in the dirt. We'll see how they score that, but one gone. Runner at second was at first, now swiping second, and a 2-0 count to Malot. Malot gets that one into right field, shallow field, and it's out of here. Fourth home run of the weekend for Sydney Malot, and that young lady is on an absolute tear. You talked about and there's the celebration again. Love the way they celebrate that, and a lot of fun in that Iowa State dugout. She just barreled this up, and the wind undoubtedly kept it drifting. It looked like Cheese thought she had a beat on it, but that ball just kept drifting further and further, and Malot has her fourth of the weekend.
Malot really likes those pitches on the upper half of the zone and does such a good job keeping her hands up and getting her barrel to it. And like you said, the wind, I think, helping her out a little bit. That ball just kept drifting and drifting. But what I really like about Malot is her ability to hit to all fields. She's hit one of her home runs to right, 2 of them to left, and then that one pretty much in center field, a little bit right center. So it doesn't even matter what side of the plate you throw the ball on. If you leave something over the heart of the plate a little bit elevated, Malot.
Great job by Iowa State against Katie Coots, who's still continuing to develop, trying to become that third-day starter potentially, and trying to keep the numbers down. Innings pitched by Ruby Malin. But Tatum Johnson, who lined out to second her first time up, and it was a shot. How's that one back? Count 1-1. But give Iowa State credit. Their approach at the plate this weekend has been really good.
It has been very impressive at the plate for Iowa State. They are so disciplined and swinging with so much power. Every time they swing the bat, they swing hard and barreling up a ton of pitches, because Oklahoma State's defense has been pretty solid throughout this series. They have just been finding gaps and making some things happen.
2-1 the count here. No, that's exactly right. And on the other side, I mean, Iowa State's defense has been suspect at best, yet they were able to win game 1, and Cowgirls made them pay for that suspect defense yesterday. When you look at the fielding, you mentioned this, but when you look at these two teams, Oklahoma State #1 in the conference coming into the weekend in fielding percentage, and Iowa State 10th. Despite that, Iowa State has had terrific records, staying in the top 3 of the Big 12, at least certainly coming in that way, trying to stay there. And the 2-2 misses high and away to Johnson, goes to 3-2. Johnson, the center fielder, fouls that one off. As part of those kind of craziness that we saw between the collision between her and Oliver, who was in right. She had basically an out, and the ball popped out of her glove after a collision. Then same inning, 2 more runs scored for Oklahoma State as she had an opportunity coming in from center field. Bartholomew could have dropped back, lost it in the sun, and Johnson couldn't find it either. And there's a big swing and a miss, and the emotion of Ruby Malin. That's a big out for her right there, and you can see she's going to wear that emotion today.
And there's that rise ball on the outer half to lefties. That pitch is so effective. It's kind of her strikeout pitch, I would say, for lefties. She gets a ton of swings and misses on that one, and good job coming in and immediately getting the strikeout.
Trying to add some life as the shift is on for Oklahoma State, and they're going to hit right into the shift.
In the first game, holding down other teams in the Big 12, able to get that first win in all of their series so far, which is so impressive for them and their team. And then I think our conversation with Coach Pinkerton was just about kind of piecing it together the rest of the weekend from there on out.
Yeah, it's just been an interesting run for them. As you see, Warsip is thrown out at first, and that was a good effort right there on the little bunt, drag bunt, but didn't quite get there in time. Interestingly enough, too, speaking of the bottom of the lineup, Warsip and Bloodworth. Now, Bloodworth batted in the top of the order in game 1, but batted 8th yesterday, batting 8th today, and Bloodworth at 9th. Those two hitters combined, the 8-9 spot for Oklahoma State, 9 of 14. There has been a lot of production for the Cowgirls in the bottom of their order, and here you see Cheese tries to drop one right there. The center fielder And you should see her speed, but that ball fouled back in the count 0-1. So the Cowgirls have gotten production at the bottom of the order. Just didn't have enough runs in game one, but got the run rule win on Saturday. And that one out of the zone, 1-1. Delgadillo on the season has 20 stolen bases on 26 attempts. Came in as one of the best coming off the West Coast. And she takes ball 2 there.
Yeah, we saw Megan Delgadillo up in that leadoff spot for the majority of the first half of the Cowgirls season. She did a great job up there setting the table and getting on base and able to move over to second, steal some bags, get into scoring position. But now down in the 8th spot, like you said, just going to try to get some things going in the bottom of the lineup.
Well, and you've seen this firsthand as a player, as a graduate assistant at Oklahoma State in that office with Coach Kenny Gajewski as the 2-2 on the way to Cheese, and she hits that one, Trice underneath it, the throw over in time to first for out number 1. But what you have had to have witnessed is, I mean, we had Talon Edwards. You saw Talon Edwards at the top of the lineup for Coach Kenny Gajewski. Then as things weren't going well, she went down to the bottom of the order, and then he moved her right back to the top. And you talked about changing her and Cheese up a little bit. No one is afraid to change their lineup any more less than Kenny Gajewski. He will mess with the lineup until he finds that order that he's looking for. So we have seen him really make a lot of changes and just not afraid to do it.
Yeah, sitting in that office last year, I just kind of mostly listened to hours and hours of conversation about how to piece the lineup together. There's so many things that go into it, and sometimes it's just a feeling that Coach G or Coach Shippey or Coach Carey Eberly has, but other times it's the stats and just how things are going.
Well, things going well for Iowa State as Johnson underneath that Bloodworth pop out for out number 3. We're going to the top of the 3rd. This is Big 12.
This is only the 9th game, so at that time it was only the 7th game they've played at home this year. Usually they have almost 20 home games total, so just kind of an interesting year with the scheduling, but Cowgirls love playing at home, and they play very well here.
Undoubtedly they do. Their regional, super regional run here has been phenomenal with a 20-1 record over the last 5 years in regional, super regional play. They have not had to leave Stillwater. And of course, went straight on down to Oklahoma City, qualifying for the Women's College World Series 5 consecutive years. You see those runs of regionals. This year, they certainly look to be a regional team, but a super regional, there's going to be some work that has to be done to become that team. As the Cowgirls head here on Carly Ford, and there's a strikeout, the second of the ball game already for Ruby Malin.
Ruby Malin just pounding the zone in this at-bat, going up in the upper half of the zone against Carly Ford, who had that big hit a couple innings ago. I love how she just comes in and immediately sets the tone and shuts it down.
And, again, this is a team right now in Oklahoma State that needs offense, and they need something to go. And Ruby's doing it on the defensive side as that one is flared into left field in front of Hathood, and that's one that just floated enough, but dropped quickly enough that Hathood couldn't get to it. So good hit there for Bartholomew, and a single and another runner on. But Ruby Malin can help you offensively because of her energy she presents on the defensive end. So this is an important time defensively for Oklahoma State to spark what's going to happen on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, this is a good time for Oklahoma State to just try and get a couple of runs on the board. It's unlikely they're going to have a huge inning and get more than 5, but behind Ruby Malin, this team feels very confident that they have a chance to win every single game whenever she's in the circle.
So, and I just think that's that emotion that she plays with, right? And just the way she does what she does. We do have a pinch runner, number 3, Ireland Buss, out there for Coach Pinkerton and his crew. Isabel Nosen, the designated player. As a walk and an RBI, she was walked with the bases loaded. That was the third run in that top of the first inning. And of course, Sydney Malot left the yard in 2. Another 2-run shot for her, and she has been outstanding this weekend for Iowa State. 2-0 by Nosen is chopped foul. If you're looking at the numbers and some of the things for this Iowa State team, the Cyclones tied the school record for the most Big 12 wins in a single season, earning their 7th coming into this series. They beat it with a win against Oklahoma State, so now 8 is the most they've ever had in the Big 12. There's a big cut. They had 8 in the Big 8, but they had never had more than 7 wins in the Big 12, trying to get their 9th. And as you mentioned earlier, there's more series left. Iowa State went 1-2 in its Big 12 series opener, as that one is fouled out of play. But this may be one of the most incredible stats to me that we have seen. Iowa State had not won, as they beat Houston in their very first Big 12 game. They had not won a single Big 12 opening game since 2006. Been nearly 20 years since they'd won that first one, setting the tone for their season. And I mean, it's just they've set their tone. It's pretty amazing what they've been able to do in that regard.
Wow, that's honestly very shocking to me, because this season the complete opposite. They've won every single one of their opening games in the Big 12 and still have a few series left, so a lot more opportunities to get some wins.
This is going to be a record year of all kinds of proportions for Iowa State and Coach Pinkerton, as that one is fouled back. We'll do a 3-2 here. I mean, the numbers are pretty amazing. You know, Allen, who got her 4th hit earlier in the series, she's became the 7th player in the history of the program to get 200 hits. Coach Pinkerton has just had a plan. He's kept the course, and this program's starting to shine as Ruby Malin gives up the walk to Nosen. So a strikeout, a single, and a walk, and more pressure on the bags from Iowa State. That McKenna Andrews, third baseman. Iowa State trying to go to 9-6 on the year. Get only their 4th win other than their series openers. It'll be their 4th win in games 2 and 3 in the Big 12. And on the road at a top 25 opponent. There's a strike. Look at Andrews, gets a call and the look on the wristband and gets right back in there, and Malin settled in, ready to go too. There's a bunt, and the Cowgirls get the throw to first for the out. It's a sacrifice bunt that will get the runners to second and third, but 2 gone here. And that brings up the top of the order in Serenity Trice, and Cowgirls definitely need to be on the same page here, because if there's anybody for Iowa State with that 1 for 2 on the day, Serenity Trice will make you play your defense differently, because she is so incredibly quick, and her bunts have been outstanding.
I wanted to shout out Talon Edwards on that last play with the bunt. It was actually right at the pitcher, Ruby Malin, but Talon Edwards coming all the way across and getting that bunt, using her momentum to make a strong throw to first base. That's exactly what you want your third baseman to do in a bunt situation. You want your third baseman to take control, go get any ball that they can, and make the play.
So, interestingly enough, Trice has been phenomenal game 2. Very good so far here today. Against Ruby Malin on Friday, she was 0 for 4 with a 3 strikeouts on the evening. So, let's see what the battle looks like here second time around. And there's one off the plate. Ball 1, 2 gone, 2 runners at second and third. And Iowa State would try to add to that 5-0 lead. Cowgirls playing, shifting to the left in the outfield. And you can see why right there as Trice fouls that one off for the strike. Get one out of the infield, you're going to score one, possibly two. Drop one down in the dirt. It could get interesting, and the Cowgirls make the throw to first. Great job. Cowgirls fighting to try to move up the chain right now. Iowa State trying to stay there and not have to play on day one in Oklahoma City for the Big 12 tournament. As Talon Edwards leads things off for the Cowgirls here in the bottom of the third. And she takes that one off the elbow, and a base runner. As she will go to first. Talon hit by a pitch. Skirvin shakes her head, says, I'm fine, we're good. Been pitching with a lot of confidence. He's only given up one hit so far today. Did have a walk and now a hit by pitch, so the third base runner of the day for Oklahoma State. And she'll face the ever dangerous Rosie Davis.
Talking about the standings a little bit, I was just looking at some of the numbers, and Iowa State actually 7th in the conference in batting average, and that's out of 11 teams. 10th in the conference in ERA, and 10th in the conference in fielding percentage.
But they're fourth in the league.
They're fourth in the standings, and I just think that's wild because you look at them on paper and you think, oh, Iowa State, okay, not really standing out in any of those categories, but their team together as a whole is able to find a way to put together wins.
Listen, again, a very, very interesting point. And I looked at some of those earlier as well, as Davis is looking at a 2-1 here. And I got to think the numbers are so skewed as that one is popped up. Johnson coming in and sees it just fine and gets the out for out number 1. That'll leave Edwards at third. And Rosie Davis will be 0 for 1 with a walk today. Their numbers have been good on day one, and they've won those games. Their numbers in game 2 have been really, really bad. So I think it has skewed their numbers to the bottom of the league in ERAs. I mean, they gave up 18 at one point. They gave up 10 to Oklahoma State. They gave up 13 in game 2. So I think those numbers get drastically go the wrong direction in game 2 and 3, but they've been so successful in game 1. So it's a very, very odd statistic to be where they are in the 3 facets in the Big 12, yet still be in the 4th spot. It's a bit of a conundrum is what it is.
That's exactly right. It's really cool to see, though.
Yeah, they give them credit. They've won enough and when they've needed to put themselves in a good situation going into the back half of the conference schedule.
Yeah, I think it just shows also you never know what can happen in the Big 12 in this conference. These teams are so competitive and so evenly matched at some points that it doesn't even matter. The numbers do not even matter at all.
Wark fouls that one to the third base side. And that'll force Kenny Gajewski to put his hands on his hips in a little frustration on that third base side. And obviously looking for some offense as Carly Godwin has a runner at first, but 2 gone now, and she'll get her opportunity with a fly out today, batting .327 on the season. And she takes ball 1. Again, give Skirvin credit. She's pitching really well right now.
Yeah, Skirvin is mixing it up a lot, and you look at those at-bats from Rosie Davis and Michaela Wark, and just very unproductive outs for the Cowgirls offense. Talon doing a good job getting on base to start the inning off, and that's the heart of the lineup, 2-3. All you want is just a quality at-bat, put something in play, on the ground even, move the runner over, just do something a little bit more than hitting an easy pop-up to Rosie Davis to center field and Michaela Wark to the third baseman.
Skirvin only gave up 4 hits and 1 earned run on Friday. Again, didn't get the win because we went to extra innings and Ralston ended up getting that W for Iowa State, but she did a good job of mixing it up. It's curious to see if they let her go past for today, as that one is going to be hit all the way to the wall, and Talon Edwards is going to be held up at third, and that's going to be a double for Carly Godwin. And again, the Cowgirls have runners in scoring position at second and third with 2 gone.
Carly Godwin with a great swing on this pitch, a little bit on the outer half, but she's able to get her barrel around it and just send it into the gap. I thought Talon Edwards might have been sent on that play. I would have honestly liked to see her go and try to get something on the board with 2 outs, but probably a good idea to hold her with, you know, the heart of the lineup still coming up, and just a good swing by Carly Godwin. She's starting to put some good at-bats together.
I tell you, I thought the same thing as she was rounding third. I thought Kenny was going to give her the go sign. He put up the brakes instead. And maybe that's because now Poole is not in right field today, but we saw that young lady's got a hose out there in right field. And Johnson does too. So I think that was respect to the center fielder. They have thrown the ball from the outfield to the home plate on a line. And I think that's part of the reason why. But I sure thought Kenny might push the envelope a little bit there, but he didn't. Held Edwards up. So that, go ahead.
I would say also respect to the shortstop, Bartholomew. Yesterday we saw her throw a ball from the 5-6 hole all the way to first base on a line. So a lot of players on this Iowa State defense with good arms and the ability to make some really good plays happen on defense.
No, absolutely. I mean, we've seen them hit the cutoff runners. We've seen them throw it home. We've seen a little bit of everything. And Iowa State's, in their accuracy and their arm strength is very good. 2-1 here to the catcher, Hassler. There's a strike. And the count 2-2. Lauren Skirman, 2.88 ERA. Held the Cowgirls off the scoreboard so far, and that one an inside pitch that Hassler spun on, but rips it foul. And we've got a lot of wind blowing directly out. Thought we would see a little more offense by both 2 teams, although, again, we saw Malot leave the yard already. So far, the pitchers have been able to keep it down. There's a pitch outside. Count goes full. Cowgirls have managed 2 hits, 1 error. Iowa State 5 hits. And they played clean defensively today. And there's ball 4. So the Cowgirls have the bases loaded again. I mean, I guess it would be the broadcaster's jinx if you talk about it again, as Rachel Hadhoot, left fielder, 0 for 1. But the Cowgirls, with runners and bases juiced in Big 12 play, they just have struggled a little bit.
I know. I don't even know if I want to say it just in case, but we'll see if Rachel Hadhoot can come through this time. She's had some really good at-bats and getting the start today. The previous 2 games coming in off the bench and making some things happen, hitting that home run yesterday. So a big moment for her to try to get a clutch hit and put some runs on the board.
Timely hitting has been missing a little bit for the Cowgirls. And if they can find a way to put some runs on the board here, you're going to see an energy from Ruby Malin that's going to be amped up, which is only going to be more contagious for the offense. The offense contagious, but that's where Iowa State's got to get a lot of credit. They have taken the emotional swings of this series, and they've just kind of played through it and just have not let that really get away from them. Now, they did a little bit in game 2, but even at that, they were putting pressure on early against Oklahoma State, and certainly doing that right here.
I agree, and you look at game 1, after giving up those 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th, it's so easy to kind of deflate after that and just lay down and let the other team take over. But Iowa State immediately coming back and putting that run on the board to take the lead.
So there's a hit and a bobble, and the Cowgirls get a run across the board. We'll probably see an E, so they still will get credit for a hit with the bases loaded, which would make them, I think, 1 for 18 if we're doing this math right, but they've got another chance here. Let's take a look at this one.
Yeah, Rachel Hahu putting this ball on the ground, and the shortstop, Bartholomew, usually pretty short-handed over there, but just maybe getting ahead of herself a little bit, taking her eye off the ball, focusing more so on the throw before actually fielding the ball, and allowing the Cowgirls to push a run across.
So the Cowgirls, they're going to have a pinch hitter, young lady that ended it for Oklahoma State yesterday. Lexi McDonald hit a 2-run shot in the bottom of the 6th yesterday to get the run rule. She is 2 for 2 on the series, and she will get an opportunity with the bases loaded here.
We knew we were going to see McDonald at some point today, the way that she's been coming in, and her at-bats have been outstanding. And I love the pinch hit for Tia Warsup, who's more of a short game specialist. In this situation, you want someone with some power and who can drive something and bring some runs in, especially with 2 outs. So I love the idea to pinch hit for more of the slapper and give Lexi McDonald, who's a powerful left-handed hitter, the opportunity to hit.
In game 1, she pinch hit one into left field. Game 2, she pinch hit, 2-run shot to the right center field. And let's see what happens here. She hits one right at Bartholomew. It is a shot. It's a good AB, but Bartholomew makes up for the bobble and gets the 3rd out. 5-1.
Go in as an error in the scorebook, but a couple of fly balls that have just dropped in the middle of nowhere. I think a little bit of the fly ball communication lacking. We've seen some overthrows, a couple throws going into right field, and then the fielding error just now. It just seems like this is that facet of the game that Iowa State doesn't really have locked in this weekend, but still winning that first game and then up 5-1 in this game, so it's not really taking a huge effect on them.
Yeah, it's one of those times, it's one of those things when numbers just don't tell the full story, right? I mean, exactly right. I mean, the ball that dropped in the infield, it was an infield fly that dropped in there. We had outfield flies that have dropped. You talked about the overthrows to first, overthrows from first to third. We've seen so many of those things happen, and yet Iowa State, it is almost as if you feel like if they can clean those up, they're not going to be an okay team. They're going to be a fantastic softball team. They have a chance to be really good. As I said yesterday, I think they passed the eye test. They've got a lot of terrific-looking athletes with big-time arms. Coach Pinkerton's done a great job of assembling a lot of talent, a lot of good-looking athletes. They just got to clean some things up.
Yeah, and maybe it's a little bit of that youth. They do have a lot of freshmen on this team, and I think that's something that really comes along as you develop as a player and you get more experience. The fielding decisions and just locking in your defense, I think, really gets better as time goes on. So maybe a little bit of the lack of practice outside, not having a lot of experience taking fly balls on the field in the conditions with the sun, the wind, and just kind of getting better at those things as the season goes on.
And there's a check swing and a strikeout for Jessie Clemens. A rare strikeout, as she has been great this weekend as well.
Clemens has been on fire this season, but a little bit, I think, just hesitating a little bit on that pitch, trying to decide if that was something that she needed to swing at with 2 strikes. But Ruby Malin doing a good job putting that pitch close to the zone to get her to bite at it, but not fully swing, and starting the inning with a strikeout.
Malot homered her last time up. And this was the last batter faced for Katie Coots. So this is the first time that Ruby Malin has faced her here today. And being careful there at 2-0.
Yeah, and if I'm Ruby Malin, I'm not giving Malot anything in the top half of the zone. We've seen 3 home runs on pitches on the top half of the zone. I think that's what she's looking for and wants to swing at. She knows she can get her barrel to it, and if she gets it up in the wind again, then she has a good chance of hitting another one out.
Well, I mean, she hit every bit of that ball, right? I mean, she did a great job, but as you saw, she's drifting towards it. That ball just continued to carry and carry until it finally made its way all the way out into right center into the outfield deck. That's what we call the gift shop. And I'm not sure the fans out there wanted that kind of gift, though. Cowgirls got a 3-deck now, in 3-level deck in the left field called the social. Right of that is there's a walk for Cindy Malot. Right of that you have it's where mostly the family and the parents gather. They call that the Outlaws. To the right of the batter's eye in outfield, that is the gift shop. There's the Outlaws. Keep going, you'll see the right of that. There's the gift shop. And then you got the grandstand. Those are all new this year, putting those in temporary bleachers to satisfy the demand for Cowgirl softball. As there's a base hit for Tatum Johnson. It's her first hit of the day. And now the runners at first and second for Iowa State. Creating an incredible atmosphere here at Cowgirl Stadium.
Now somebody's got to think of a fun name for those bleachers
the
out
grandstand,
there.
yeah, exactly.
I think they're here to stay. The past few seasons we've seen them kind of come up when it's a big series or postseason, but they've been here the whole time. So I think we're going to need something a little permanent
you're right.
for them.
Yeah, it's a little name recognition as Allen takes these. Yeah, right there. You see just to the right field and then just down that first base side. The gift shop is the gift shop because that's where the souvenirs go a lot for the Cowgirls. Behind, I've just decided, you see that tree right there? That's the home run tree. In batting practice today, the Cowgirls hit that tree about 5 times. So you've got behind the gift shop where the souvenirs are, you've got the home run tree. And right there, Allen tried to take that one to the home run tree, but fouls it off. Count 1 and 2 to her. Looking for her first hit of the game. Settle back in there, and the count 2 and 2. Ruby taking her time, making sure she read the correct pitch, and that's fouled back as Allen was swinging for the fences again there. On the season, this Cowgirl team has hit 39 home runs. And there's a strikeout. Big strikeout right there for Ruby Malot. Let's take a look at this strikeout pitch. You talked about her going up and away. This time went a little different.
Malot needing to mix it up a little bit against Allen, the All-American last year. Such a good hitter, but using her drop ball low in the zone to get her to swing right over the top of it. Great battle by those two players. Just All-American versus All-American is always a fun matchup, and Ruby Malot getting the best out of that one.
No doubt she does, as now she faces Carly Ford, who had that 2 RBI single early, batting .278. Your aforementioned Cowgirls, 39 home runs in the season, hit a lot towards that home run tree out to the gift shop. You got to have your offense has got to be rooted in power if you're going to hit the home run tree. You got to branch out a little bit. I don't know if you're catching all that, but it's game 3 of the series. You start finding other things to talk about. 1-1 here for Carly Ford. Besides that 2 RBI single, struck out last time. Runners at first and second. That one's hit right back up to Bloodworth. She bobbles it, boots it into the outfield. 1 run will score, and the Cowgirls will be credited with another error. That should have been a routine 6 put out, but we've seen now both shortstops struggle with some shots at them.
And Carly Ford putting this ball on the ground up the middle. Bloodworth ranging to her glove side pretty well. I think just pulling up a little bit on that ground ball. Would have been a nice play for her to just snag that, step on second base, and get out of the inning. But the error allowing Iowa State to put another run on the board.
So 6-1, and I'm not sure she might not have felt the pressure of Tatum Johnson, who got a good jump off of that hit, feeling like she's going to have to beat her to second and rush the glove part of the play. And so error number 2 on Oklahoma State. Runners on the corners for Iowa State. And Bartholomew will try to add to the damage here in the top of the 4th. Iowa State has scored in 3 of the 4 innings so far. 3 in the first, 2 in the second. We're not held scoreless in the 3rd, but they now have 1 here in the 4th. Oklahoma State's offense on the struggle side of things, so got a lot of work to do, but they are a late blooming team this season throughout these games. That one is fouled back for strike 2.
Now the Iowa State offense to me has just been relentless throughout this entire series. Even yesterday they took the loss 10-1, but had 7 runners that they left on base throughout that game. So they're still getting some production and getting people on base. Yesterday not able to bring them in as well, but today with 6 runs on 6 hits, they have been so good this whole series.
OSU has left 14 on the bags. Iowa State has left 13 through the first 2 games. And again, that kind of goes back to the lack of timely hitting really for both teams. But Iowa State's just found enough through game 1 and 3 to certainly have control here. There's a throw, and they will try to get the tag out, and that's that get a chance to see the bullpen out there is the fact that you've got 2 very good teams here ultimately. Cheese takes that one high out of the zone, 2-2 rather. Seed Cup goes down in the stat booth. Things are falling apart in Stillwater. We had a quick cleanup on aisle 3 though, and there's a strike call on Cheese for strikeout number 1 for Ralston. Let's take a look at this one.
Ralston bringing that pitch on the outer half. That is a tough one as a hitter. It's on the outer half of the plate, but you never want to leave it up to the umpire. And in that situation, as a lefty, just try to throw your bat out there and foul it off and get something better to swing at.
Bloodworth will get an opportunity here. 0 for 1 with a fly out. You know, as a slapper, too, you have a tendency to be drifting towards the plate, right? You can't get out of the box and make contact, but you're drifting towards the first base side. So as the ball runs away, you're going completely opposite. That's a great pitch location for Ralston to get that strikeout.
Yeah, great location, and Ralston does throw a screwball about 10% of the time in her arsenal, so that movement to the outer half of the plate for a lefty is extremely difficult to hit.
Bloodworth tries to bump one down the first base side and fouls it off, so it's 1-2. Corners were coming in strong, but take that out of the arsenal here with the 2 strikes. So 1-2 with 1 gone. Cowgirls trail it by 6. That one is hit to right field. Clemens over there and makes the catch. Now to bring up the top of the order for Oklahoma State. Ralston comes in doing what she's done well so far as Edwards 0 for 1. Hit by a pitcher last time up. Grounded out to second in the first at-bat. So looking for her first hit of the day. And takes strike 1. You know, it's interesting, again, give Coach Pinkerton credit. He knows his staff, right? But really, Skirman was pitching well, but he made that change, kind of the same thing we talked about with Oklahoma State. There's some predetermined factors in there, and once they've gone through the order a couple times, they like to make a change no matter how things are going.
And that's exactly what Coach Pinkerton told us about in our pregame chat on Friday. They really dive into the matchups and kind of try to pitch more as a staff and piece things together to try to keep runs off the board.
Well, Talon Edwards gets a 2-out hit Cowgirls have had a lot of two-out hits, but they haven't been able to do that with runners in scoring position. It's just been singles and maybe a double, and then struggling the next time up. But it's Rosie Davis coming in here with that two-out situation. On the season, Rosie Davis is batting .342 with two outs. She's got an opportunity to do what she's been doing all season long. She's been on a bit of a tear as of late, too, even getting even better. But that one is going to be hit to try right there to get Andrews on a little line out to start the top of the fifth. He said, you know, we want to grow the game. And he goes, I talked to Kenny a lot. I've served on a lot of boards with him. We talk a lot to, you know, the other coaches in the league. Yes, we want to win every Big 12 game as Trice back in there. But we ultimately, we're trying to help grow the game, and we are friends. And I can see where Coach Pinkerton, again, just a very, very likable guy, as Trice gets another hit, just flares one right over the top of Bloodworth. So just a pleasant guy, and I thought he was very transparent with us the other day.
Yes, and I thought it was fun to talk to him about the dynamic between the Oklahoma State and Iowa State matchups, because he's like, I don't make a big deal about it, even though he's from Oklahoma, Tulsa alum, grew up here. He's like, I don't make it a big deal to my girls. They just show up and play well every single time against Oklahoma State, and often against Oklahoma as well, and it's always a fun game.
Yeah, when you look at the percentage of wins against top 25 teams, nearly 50% of those wins are against Oklahoma State. And of course, they got the series win last year and trying to get the series win here, and they've got an opportunity with runners at first and second. And not hard hit, but they're hit well enough to give them opportunities. And one gone, runners at first and second for it's first and second rather for Iowa State. And Sydney Malot back in the box.
And that was the freshman again, Jessie Clemens. That was an off-speed pitch from Ruby Malin, and she waited back and just threw her hands at that pitch, not looking like a freshman at the plate at all. She looks like a veteran up there. Very good swing, just good approach, able to wait back and punch a changeup through the gap. Like, that's something that you don't see a lot of freshmen doing this early in their career.
Especially against a young lady like Ruby Malin, right? I mean, we know how good she can be, so got to give her credit. So that'll bring up Sydney Malot. Struck out, two-run home run, drew a walk, and Malin will face her again here. And the count even at 1-1. That one's going to be hit to Bloodworth, flip to Davis, throw to first, not in time, so they get the runner at second. Safe at first, two gone, runners on the corners. Good job here by Bloodworth. After booting one earlier, that's a good play right here.
Yeah, the ball always finds you usually after you make a mistake, and Megan Bloodworth cleaning it up there, getting the force out at second base. Very close play at first on the turn, but Malot able to hustle down the line and prevent the double play.
Absolutely, got there just in time, and Tatum Johnson, big cut foul, third base side. 0-1 to her. Johnson batting .348 with two outs and .455 with runners in scoring position. She has had high productivity in these situations for Iowa State. That one is hit and fighting off the...
Iowa State will also face in the back half of the conference season as well.
Michaela Wark, inside out swing, didn't get much power on that one, and third baseman McKenna makes the throw for out number one here in the bottom of the fifth. So very quick work there for Wark. That brings up Carly Godwin. The first baseman lined out and doubled so far today. Cowgirls need base runners with less than two outs. Lauren Skirman started this ball game. Jaden Ralston has come in and has done well in relief. That one is handcuffed her a little bit, and it's out. over the third base side. 0 for 2. That one is hit, and it is fair. Carly Godwin will turn that into 2. She's got a stand-up double. Back-to-back doubles for Carly Godwin. So base running life for Oklahoma State as we see this one jump just over that third base bag.
Yeah, Carly Godwin getting a really good piece on that ball. I like how aggressive she was in this at bat. She just was swinging hard and able to get around on that ball, shoot it down the line. And we've seen Carly Godwin struggling a little bit over the past few games, and it seems like she's starting to see the ball a little better and put some things together.
May want to review this to make sure it in fact went over the bag, but I think everybody immediately saw that it was over the bag. By the way, if it does stand, according to the best statistician in the country, Chris Dill, that's double number 9 for Carly Godwin on the year. Again, Oklahoma State needs some life. And so take a look and see if this looks the same. It looked to me like it did stay inside the bag. It lands foul, but it crossed the third base bag inside. And again, we don't know what all definitive looks they have. That one's pretty inconclusive.
Yeah, I agree. Carly Godwin just hit it so hard that it was hard to tell in real time, but I think the umpire's making a good call there.
I think you're right, and yeah, took virtually no time. Either they didn't have a good look at it, or they had a great look and they knew what we saw was accurate. And we'll get the call from the umpire.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. Fair ball.
Fair ball.
This is Iowa State's first challenge.
And unlike football rules, when you get a challenge and you are correct, you maintain that challenge. In softball, you get 2 challenges, period. And so Iowa State just used one of theirs. 2 walks on the day for Amanda Hassler, the catcher. And she's got home run power, leads this team in home runs this season. Oklahoma State still has 2 more series of at-bats, assuming they can get some runs going here. So they don't need to make up all 6 right here, but they certainly want to try to get themselves back within striking distance after falling down 5-0 after 2 innings. Ruby Malin came on in relief, has only given up 2, but I don't believe either of those were earned. So Cowgirls have not given up any earned runs since the 2nd inning. There's one, a little undercut shot, and Godwin will go to third, and Hassler's got her first hit of the day with a single. And now the Cowgirls have a little bit going on with runners in the corners and 1 out here in the bottom half of the 5th. Let's take another look at this one.
A little bit of life for the Cowgirls. Amanda Hassler taking this inside pitch and just dropping it in perfectly right past the reach of the shortstop Bartholomew. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of a luck and just some good placement out there.
Cowgirls have 1 run on the board. It was not earned, as it was an error by Rachel Hatt, who reached on an error. But the old adage, good things happen when you put the ball in play. She hit 1 to short. Bartholomew just couldn't handle it, booted it into the dirt, and the Cowgirls able to score. So right back with the starter.
Yeah, I think they just want to go back to Skirman, who has pitched well throughout this game so far. Gave up no earned runs through her first 3 innings. And then on Friday, only giving up the 1 earned run. And the Cowgirls starting to get some things going against Ralston, so probably just going to put her back in there to shut things down.
Hat Hoot will try to keep this going for Oklahoma State. A 1-1 count to her. That one's fouled back. So the Cowgirls have Carly Godwin at third, Amanda Hassler at first. And Hathoot trying to change that 6-run deficit for Oklahoma State. Keeping in mind the Cowgirls are batting 5 of 20 with runners in scoring position. That's 200 by my math. Not where the Cowgirls want to be. It's 250 by my math. I'll get there right in a minute. It's that Oklahoma State education. 2 for 2, or 2 and 2 with 1 out. Here we go. And that one is flared into right field. And boy, look at the arm of Clemens. The Cowgirls weren't going to try to run with Godwin at third, but that's a heck of a throw out there by Clemens down the line to home.
Carly Godwin, not the speediest runner on the Oklahoma State roster, so not going to try to challenge the arm of Clemens, but another unproductive at-bat from Rachel Hathoot in that situation. Just an easy pop out to the outfield, kind of stifling the momentum of the situation, I think, a little bit.
So now it's closer to 200 because it's 5 of 21, and the Cowgirls trying to find something, and they will go back to Tia Warsup. They pinched hit McDonald for her, and they'll go back to Warsup here this time. She stayed in right field. Ahead 1-0, now 2-0. Cowgirls with only a couple more ABs left. Need to find some runs here, and Iowa State would just like to keep them right where they are. And there's a call, strike 2-1. Cowgirls scored the one unearned run in the third, and that one's going to be hit to the short, and short can't make the play. Bartholomew lets it get under her glove, and Tia Warsup is at first. The Cowgirls get Godwin home, and the Cowgirls lead at 7-2. This will be an interesting score as well.
I am interested to see how this goes into the scorebook. Tia Warsup taking this low outside pitch right to the shortstop Bartholomew, who had to go to her backhand. It's a tough play, but I know a play that Bartholomew knows that she can make. So good job by Tia Warsup putting the ball on the ground, getting something through the infield, and bringing in a run.
I believe they are going to call it. Randall will try to close it out for Oklahoma State. Schneidmiller behind the dish as well, coming in for Amanda Hassler. On the other side, we had 2 pitchers and 4 changes. Actually 3 changes, but the same 2 pitchers in and out along the way. And there's one hit, and coming over to make the play. Now the shift is Talon Edwards. She was on the right side of the bag, the third baseman, and it looked like for a moment she was going to let the center fielder Cheese come in and get it, and then she gloved it and able to get that first out on Allen.
And that just shows the genius of the shift from the coaching staff of Oklahoma State. That's twice now that Angelina Allen has hit a ball to Talon Edwards, who is playing straight up the middle of the field. So it just proves they're doing their research, looking at the spray charts, and putting their players in the best position.
Undoubtedly, and it just seems like that's something that when you talk about, I don't know if we said this off air or not, but you said the other day, hitting is such a mental thing anyway, and when you see the shift, it has got to mess with you. It's just it just doesn't look right. It's not something you grew up seeing, and as Carly Ford's count 1-1, but you think I just got to get it to the right. I got to get to the left side of the field, but it's so hard to do when you, as you said, you've shown on tape where your spray chart is. I'm going to the right side of the infield a lot, and it is hard to overcome that kind of pitching.
It is difficult because you know when the defense is shifted a certain way, they're also going to be pitching you a certain way, so you can try to think and anticipate, but you never really know what you're going to see.
Carly Ford left the yard. Home run for Carly Ford. She had the game winner on Friday, and she gives the Iowa State Cyclones an 8-2 lead on Sunday. That is only her second home run of the season.
How about the freshman with a huge swing? This pitch, honestly, too much over the middle of the plate, and Carly Ford going down, getting it, hitting that ball way over the fence into the third deck, I think, of the new deck out there. Yeah. So great job by the freshman. And she's having a really good series, bringing in a ton of runs.
I mean, she is doing a great job. Came in with not a lot into this series, but she has provided today, this series today included, for Iowa State, which is very much in control of this one, is Bartholomew, the shortstop, 1 for 1 with a walk, couple of walks on the day. And she hits that one into center field. Cheese will hold it to a single. And Bartholomew 2 for 2 with 2 walks. She is on base every time today, getting it done for Iowa State. And a little bit of a struggle here for Riley Crandall to start this one.
Yeah, coming into this game, Riley Crandall, I think, just leaving her pitches over the heart of the plate a little bit too much, allowing Iowa State to put good barrel on these balls.
There's one that is hit back to Carly Godwin. She was able to glove it for the out. I think if she had realized it, all she had to do is take that glove hand and swipe back, and she would have gotten the out on Bartholomew. But she tried to outrace her to the bag, and Bartholomew back in there safely. Nice job, and I think Bartholomew was a little bit gimpy on that one, and now we may have a pinch hit situation. They may want to have a pinch runner, and we'll see what coach is going to do here. He is going to have actually a pinch hitter for McKenna Andrews. And this young lady is Paige Zender.
Pinch hitting for Iowa State, number 10, Paige Zender.
She may be looking for a potential game ender, as she represents a 8-run differential. Again, assuming the Cowgirls couldn't score in the bottom of this one. The sweeping changes and roller coaster that is Iowa State softball. Win game 1, struggle in game 2, turn right around and win game 3. It has been their MO this season. Oh and 2, 2 outs for Zender. That one off the plate. Ball 1. By the way, 90 degrees today. Just about 22, 23 degrees normal, above normal. Usually 68 this time of year. Supposed to see a high today of 93. Lots of wind. Very interesting day for sure here in Stillwater. And a lot of production by Iowa State.
Riley Crandall ending the inning with a strikeout, but not before Carly.
Down to the Big 12, making their way to Oklahoma City for the Women's College World Series. And what an exciting opportunity to see these teams. And Bloodworth, the 9-hole hitter, starts things off for Oklahoma State in the bottom of the 6th. Iowa State has scored in the 1st, the 2nd, the 4th, and the 6th. 4 of the 6 innings they have put up numbers. Oklahoma State's only scored 1 run in the 3rd, 1 run in the 5th. What do you remember about the Big 12 tournament?
Well, it's an awesome event. I think it's really cool that they have it in Oklahoma City at Devon Park, Hall of Fame Stadium. So much culture, so much history there. It's an amazing venue to play at.
There's a start of maybe a rally with no outs and a hit for Oklahoma State. And Bloodworth is on board with her first hit of the day. You know, again, it gives these teams, if you do make it Oklahoma City, I mean, you are familiar with the venue. That's a plus if you make it to the Women's College World Series.
It's definitely a plus because that stadium is huge and kind of intimidating if you haven't played there before. And they get a huge crowd out there for the Big 12 tournament. It's such a cool place to play. And I can't even believe that we're only a few weeks out from postseason.
Talon Edwards 1-0 here. You know, the other part of that is Oklahoma State played Oklahoma in a Bedlam, non-conference Bedlam matchup, and this ball game just got turned around a little bit. Talon Edwards leaving the yard. 2-run shot. It's 8-4. Sound the horn. The Cowgirls leaving the yard, and Talon Edwards trying to fire up her team. She turned and got every bit of the barrel on that one.
Talon Edwards opening up on this inside pitch on the upper half. She knew right away that was out. That ball was way over the fence. Great swing by Talon Edwards, and Cowgirls, no outs, already put 2 runs back on the board, maybe getting some momentum here in the bottom of the 6th.
Keep in mind, Skirman was started. Ralston came in for her. Skirman came back, so now she's done as Ralston is back out there. And so Skirman is unavailable, and Ralston's in her last stint if they decided to go and make a substitution again. And Cowgirls trying to get some momentum here. Cowgirls have 8 hits on the day. And Rosie Davis takes ball 1. The Cowgirls did play the Bedlam game down there as well, so they've already been at OG&E Field at Devon Park once this year. We'll do it again in the Big 12 tournament. Certainly would love to be there a 3rd time for the Women's College World Series, as that one's inside.
And historically, I know Oklahoma State they won the tournament in 2022. 2023 lost the first game. 2024 lost the first game again. So I'm sure they're hoping to go back and make a run at the tournament this year.
Absolutely. You know, Kenny Gajewski, everything he's done has been to not get there this year, finish it, win down there, and win that final game. That is the mindset that they have had. Now, unfortunately, some of their results don't look typical, but everything they've done is built to be able to do that. Win the last one, not the middle of the season games. They're not looking for regular season championships. They're looking for a national championship. It would be the first in women's history in Oklahoma State. No sport has won a women's national championship. And Rosie Davis shows some emotion as she draws ball 4, another base runner, and nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th.
All right, Rosie Davis with a good at-bat, turning around and trying to fire up the dugout a little bit. I love Rosie Davis's leadership offensively. She is just the hitter I think a lot of girls on this team look up to, and she's only a sophomore, but takes consistently really good at-bats and is often the one that comes through in huge moments. So I love her turning around, trying to get her team up and excited about this inning.
The Cowgirls, quite honestly, have been a little listless, a little lifeless. And you and I were just talking, and you said that the girls have got to be the one that lead that. It can't always be from the coaches. Well, the motion that we've seen from the last 3 batters has been real, and that seems to be player-led. And, boy, that is infectious. And right now, the Cowgirls on a pretty good little momentum here as Michaela Wark will get her opportunity.
Yeah, I completely agree. The Megan Bloodworth, Talon Edwards, Rosie Davis, all players that have been at Oklahoma State for a couple of years and starters for the past couple seasons, leaders on this team that the other girls are looking up to set this tone for the rest of the team.
So Wark is thrown out at first. They didn't have a play. Bartholomew just didn't feel like she could get Davis and get the lead runner, and that's big for Oklahoma State. 1 gone, but now a runner in scoring position.
Michaela Wark with the easy ground out to Bartholomew. I thought that was a tailor-made double play. Not sure why she didn't go to second base on that one, but I think Oklahoma State going to take what they can get.
You know, maybe with the couple of problems that she had, is there's going to be a pass ball, and that's going to allow Davis to advance to 3rd. So you got a sack situation here if you want it. Certainly would like to keep the thing going and keep it with 1 out. But for Bartholomew, maybe with the struggles, hey, I'm just going to get that 1. I got to get the 1. Can't risk letting Rosie Davis beat it out. But I agree with you. I thought that looked like it was made for a flip and a throw, but didn't happen. But she did get the play at first, and there's a hit. Going to flare. Is it going to stay in? It is, and so Carly Godwin is going to foul out to the first baseman in foul territory. So 2 gone, for Amanda Hassler. Cowgirls had some momentum.
It seems like the Cowgirls aren't able to really string it all together. They get something going, they get a couple runs up, get some people on base, and then it just seems like a couple of really easy outs follow that.
That's exactly right. So Hassler is going to re-enter for the Cowgirls. A couple of walks and a single. And the first pitch off the plate. Again, if you're Oklahoma State, you didn't need to get all 6 of them back, but you'd like to get 3 or 4. Give yourself a chance in the bottom half of the 7th. Certainly got to limit any more run production by Iowa State in the top of the 7th. But this is an opportunity to get at least that 3rd run and maybe more. And for Iowa State and Ralston, it's just a matter of settling in, getting these outs. As you said, gave up a couple of runs. Nobody's anxious. You get 2 outs quickly. Now you just got to finish out the inning. That one is tall. Count 3-0. And the infield will come in and encourage Ralston. Reach down in the dirt with her left hand instead of her right. That's her glove hand. There's a called strike, 3-1. Got to be careful here. Hassler, a home run hitter at 3-1. You've got an open bag, couple of bags. Don't want to give her anything too meaty, too thick right here. And there's a called strike, and that was just thick enough, right?
Yeah, I think she got that one a little close to Amanda Hassler's body. I think if that pitch was like an inch more over the plate, she would have taken a huge swing at it, but barely getting it inside and getting the strike. That's a really good pitcher's pitch.
And ball 4. So Hassler stays patient at the plate. The second walk of the inning. And the Cowgirls have runners at the corners. Brings up an opportunity for Rachel Hathoot. We saw her leave the yard on Saturday. She's 0 for 3 today and reached on an error.
Now batting the left fielder, number 1, Rachel Hathoot.
And for the Cowgirls, they'd love to get at least that 3rd run across and get this within 3. There's a called strike on the outside edge. Hathoot got the start at left. We've seen Warsip start in left, and then mid-game moved to right, and Hathoot come in. Hathoot actually got the start after a really good day at the plate. Good production yesterday. And she swings at that one in a little bit high on the zone, but got underneath it. Count 0-2. Ralston very slow, very deliberate in the circle right now. And ahead here at 0-2. See how far away off the plate this is. It's not too far off, and it's spun out of play. Thought that might be a throwaway pitch, but she was going to bring that one in there close. That's a good job by Hathoot to battle it off. Late inning heroics all season long for Oklahoma State. Iowa State has only lost 1 game all year long when leading after 4. And that one misses 1-2. The Iowa State fans didn't like it. They're getting a little restless.
Yeah, this is a huge moment, I think, for Iowa State and their defense. And as a batter in this situation, you know you can't go down looking with runners on base, 2 outs, nearing the end of the game. So going to swing at pretty much anything close to the zone.
And she does, and she pops one out, and Johnson, we're going to have to crawl back into this thing. As Serenity Trice, 2 for 4 today, a couple of singles, scored a run. Blistering speed on the bags for Iowa State. Terrific leadoff hitter. Batting .365 on the season. On base percentage .403. And as the leadoff hitter of the inning, she's batting .500. That one is spun just over the third base side, and Trice is going to easily turn that into second. She slid, but she didn't need to, as Trice has got another base hit, and this is in fact an extras at the double. Man, she's got great speed.
And Trice with her third hit of the game today. She slices this one right down the third baseline, barely sneaks it in there, and then it just spins towards the fence, and she's able to go all the way to second base using her speed and starting this inning off with a double.
So you gave up 2 in the bottom half. Can you get some runs back and get some insurance? As Jessie Clemens, we've talked so much about her today and really over the course of the series. Just a freshman, does not play like a freshman, out of Bettendorf, Iowa. Only one of 3 young ladies from Iowa on the Iowa State roster. And she bunts that one and is laid down perfectly. Runner will advance to third. Good throw by the Cowgirls, and they get the out. That's easier said than done because of the speed for Clemens and certainly for Trice, who advances now to third.
Yeah, the catcher Hassler on that play doing a job coming up out of her squat, grabbing that ball with her bare hand, making a quick throw to first base to get the out.
One gone, fielder's choice last time up for Sydney Malot, but she has a sac fly possibility here, and we know she can certainly lift it into the outfield. Homered in the second. 2-run shot, her 4th home run of the series. Half-hearted check swing fouled into the dirt. 1-1 the count. Iowa State 11 hits today. They have scored double digits 5 times this season, already matching the entire number from a year ago, trying to find double digits here today. There's a strike on the outer half. Well, he's pitched an inning and a third, given up 3 hits, 1 earned run. 1 strikeout, has not issued a ball, or a walk, I should say, so far today. And that one is hit into center field. Very shallow. Here comes the throw and the play at the plate, and it is in time. Iowa State has been magnificent when leading after 4. Only 1 loss all season long in that situation. And Oklahoma State has been very good at late inning dramatics. A lot of work, though, here in this one, down by 4. First pitch called strike to Warsop. And that one is hit into left field, and it is caught. What an amazing job by Angelina Allen. And we have seen terrific defensive plays made against Oklahoma State all year long. That is a one-hopper 90% of the time, but give Allen credit. That's a beautiful play.
Tia Warsop getting a good piece of this pitch, driving it out into left field, but Allen had a great jump on it, charged it hard, and making a great effort on that play. The defense finally picking up their pitcher in this game, and Allen just a great play to prevent a leadoff base runner for Oklahoma State.
Absolutely unbelievable play right there, and there's a called strike on Cheese. Megan Delgadillo, the center fielder, 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. Allen, one of the upperclassmen on this team. Now, there's only very few of these young ladies. Iowa State's most used lineup this season, just 1 position played over 50% of last year's games, and it was Allen. And she showed she's got a fantastic glove there in left, as that's fouled back. 1-2.
And I think it would have been easy for Allen to kind of play it safe on that ball and let it drop and stop it, like body it up a little bit. But I love how she just went all out and made the play, especially up by 4 runs, you know, but good job by Allen to make that play and prevent Oklahoma State from getting any momentum.
Another momentum killer there as Delgadillo lines that one out to center field. Good job by Tatum Johnson. as she makes the catch, and the Cowgirls are down to their final out. And it is Megan Bloodworth, 1 for 3, got 8 home runs, power at the bottom of the lineup. The Cowgirls down to their final out here. And Megan takes strike 1. And the struggles early in this one for Oklahoma State, giving up 5 runs. Really the difference in this one is that one is hit high, and the catcher behind it, Ford, had a game-winning run, couple of hits, and got the final out to secure the series. And give Iowa State credit. You could see the joy. That's the team that is getting bigger, better all the time, and they're building something right now. That's a lot of excitement, a lot of raw, real enthusiasm for the Cyclones.
Coach Pinkerton and the Cyclones just playing a great series. Standout performances from Sydney Malot with all of her home runs. Jessie Clemens, great weekend. Jaden Ralston pitching fantastic in the circle along with Lauren Skirman. Their team was just so good the whole season. I mean, the whole series this weekend, except maybe game 2 in the back half of that game, but they were extremely good this weekend.
Cowgirls left 11 on the bags. Just not enough timely hitting. We mentioned it over and over all series long.
Yeah, the Cowgirls not able to get those clutch hits and bring runners in. They did put up 4 runs today, but it just wasn't enough. The Cyclones offense putting up 8 runs with 11